Well, Carl Froch beat Mikkel Kessler. And I do stand corrected. This fight wasn't as bad as the first one. I wasn't interested in watching it. I'm like somebody who's pouting to watch a movie he didn't want to watch. This turned out to be a pretty interesting fight because basically Kessler, it was just like I said. Kessler is a novice fighter, and Froch figured him out in the first fight. When it got to those last rounds, he figured out what he needed to do. He's like, oh, I don't really need to back away from Kessler and be at the end of his punches and stay on the outside. I could just stay a little bit, my pressure staying a little closer and just using my jab and coming over the top with a right hand. Just like I said in the prediction video months ago, this is exactly what was going to happen. So that's why I didn't feel that this fight even needs to be fought again, because Kessler's going to give you the same performance he just gave you now. He's going to do the same performance he's been doing his entire career. He's a fighter that does not throw a lot of punches. He's not an active fighter. If you have a lot of activity, you're going to defeat him because he's not going to punch, because he's not set to punch. You have to back him up. And in that note, getting back to this fight, Froch did exactly that. Backed him up with the jab, blinded him, came it over the top, and when every time Kessler would pull back, he would get hit in the back of the ear or the side of the ear. Then after that, Froch started making some adjustments in round 4 and 5, which shocked me. I didn't expect him to make an adjustment at all. He started using some things that he worked on in camp, on side-to-side head movement and moving his shoulder side to side, and then coming straight with punches with a jab and shooting punches straight to the body. And then he was sweeping out side by side instead of pulling straight back. I said, wow, would you believe that? So, on that note, that's where I'm at. Good fight by Froch, but the fight going into it was Froch by UD. And if they fight again, the results will be Froch by UD. So who wants to see it? Now, it was obvious to those at home who were watching it, but probably didn't understand it, but HBO was pushing more for Kessler to win over Froch and trying to glorify what Kessler's doing because they want to feed him to Andre Ward. Andre Ward and Froch were in the negotiations to do a fight over in the UK. It collapsed because of the fact that, first of all, Ward wants too much money if he's to come over to the UK. And the negotiations collapsed. And a lot of people didn't know this because this happened behind the scenes, which means that no press and media were reporting on it. But everything collapsed. Then all of a sudden, this before the fight was even announced with Kessler. Next thing you know, the Kessler fight takes place, and they announce it, and then they want to see where they want to go. And Froch is like, I've given up on Ward. That was his last chance. If he doesn't want to come to the UK, there's not going to be a fight. I'm not going to go to the United States and fight him again. And that's where Ward wants the fight to be. In the United States, like, okay, I'll leave there. Let's go to Vegas. Let's go someplace else. Froch is like, no. You're coming over here, or there isn't going to be a fight. And that's it. So that's where they were on the negotiations, and I think that's fair. If they can get more money there, and since Ward is not that big of a draw here, if you could do a Vegas where it's gonna be beneficial to both, then yeah, sure, go ahead and do it. But if not, then hey, it is what it is. I'm out. Deuces.